the first time it happened. No one called it oppression. They called it streamlining. It started with the notifications, soft, polite, impossible to ignore, followed by a message from an agency most people had never heard of before. The Domestic Stability Service routine status verification required. No threats, no deadlines, it's just a button that said confirm. Everyone pressed it. The news explained it calmly that night. A temporary federal coordination effort created to manage interstate instability. States were being allowed to self-administer compliance while the federal government reorganized. That word came up a lot. Reorganize. At first, nothing changed. Then certain words disappeared from official language. Protest became unregulated gathering. Fired became reassigned. Rested became held for review. Rights were never revoked. They were reclassified. Your access depended on your status. No one knew how status was calculated. The government said it was behavioral movement patterns, public safety risk, cooperation. The kind of language that sounds reasonable if you don't look at it too closely. The first people affected were the ones everyone expected. People already labeled complicated. Their access to travel froze. Their healthcare portals displayed a gray banner. Status pending services, temporarily LMITD. They were told not to worry. Then the system widened. Your neighbor couldn't renew their license. Co-worker's paycheck was delayed for verification. A school district announced that some children would be learning remotely until their household status was resolved. No one protested. Protests required permits now, and permits required a green status. That was when the officers began appearing. They didn't wear uniforms, no insignias, no visible weapons, just neutral clothing and identical black armbands with a small silver emblem, 3 vertical lines. It's unremarkable, almost forgettable. They didn't kick down doors. They knocked. They spoke softly. They smiled. They asked you to step aside. Well, they confirmed something. Most people never came back. The news called it interstate reassignment. The social platforms updated automatically. Profiles stayed online, but stopped changing. Frozen mid-sentence, mid-life. Accounts were marked, consolidated for public CFV to white work. They installed scanners at the entrances. Just a quick pass of your phone. If it chimed green, you entered. If it chimed yellow, you waited. If it chimed red, someone else escorted you outside. People stopped making eye contact in those moments. No one wanted their status affected by proximity. The worst part wasn't the fear. It was the relief. Every time your phone chimed green, you felt grateful, clean, chosen. That's when people started enforcing the rules themselves. Apartment buildings elected safety liaisons. Neighborhoods installed shared cameras. A new app launched, Civic Assista, allowing residents to flag unusual behavior. Late night movement, covered windows. Unregistered guests, reporting earned points. Points raised your status. The narrator of this story meted everything right. I confirmed every check-in. I kept my head down. I avoided the wrong conversations. I even reported someone once. I told myself it was for safety. Then my status turned yellow. No explanation. No appeal. Just a message. Status review in progress. Remain available. Couldn't travel. My work access was limited. Friends stopped replying. Not blocked, just laid. As if my messages had to pass through something first. At night, I heard boots in the hallway. Not marching. Never marching. Just walking. Pausing. Listening. I checked the news obsessively. Different states were doing different things now. One had suspended elections. Another had closed its borders entirely. Another announced a temporary citizen audit. The country wasn't falling apart. It was sorting itself. The officers came at 6:12 a.m. They knew my name. They knew my schedule. They apologized for the inconvenience. They asked me to bring my phone and nothing else. One of them glanced at my apartment, almost kindly. You'll get it back if your status clears. The processing center wasn't a camp. It wasn't a prison. It looked like an office. Fluorescent lights, carpeted floors, rows of chairs facing screens that displayed a single word. WIT-01 spoke. Every so often, a name was called. Sometimes the person returned. Sometimes they didn't. When my turn came, there was no interview, just a screen. It showed my entire life reduced to charts and scores, movements, conversations, associations, a risk curve trending gently upward. Is there a mistake? I asked. The officer didn't look at me. There's no mistake, he said. There's only alignment. I asked what I'd done wrong. He finally met my eyes. You waited too long to agree. That night, my phone buzzed one last time. Status, Reservity, was released. Back home, everything was the same. Same apartment. Same city, same flag. Only now, the officers were everywhere. And no one seemed to notice anymore. I understood then. This wasn't a takeover. There was no enemy army. No dramatic collapse. Just a system that learned how to make people police themselves. And the most terrifying part, if it asked me to press confirm a gun, I would.